Beneath the surface of ancient Greek mythology lies a figure shrouded in mystery and shadow, a solitary ferryman who guides the souls of the dead across the murky rivers of the underworld. His name is whispered in tales of life's final journey, a gatekeeper to the afterlife, feared and revered by all. Who is this enigmatic figure? What stories does he carry as he ferries the departed to their eternal rest? Today, we'll talk about Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Let's embark on a journey to uncover his story, exploring the myths, rituals, symbols, and cultural echoes of this haunting figure. In Greek mythology, Charon, also known as Charon, is a type of psychopomp, serving as the ferryman of Hades in the Greek underworld, whose responsibility is to transport the souls of the newly deceased across the river that separates the world of the living from the underworld. Depending on the myth, this river is often named the Acheron or the Styx. Some classical examples of psychopomps include the ancient Egyptian god Anubis, the Hindu deity Pushan, the Greek ferryman Charon, the goddess Hecate, the god Hermes, the Roman god Mercury, the Norse Valkyries, the Aztec god Xolotl, the Slavic goddess Morana, and the Etruscan goddess Vant. Charon is traditionally the son of Nyx, the primordial goddess of the night, and Erebus, the god of darkness. His lineage emphasizes his association with death, darkness, and the night. Archaeology confirms that in some Greek burials, low-value coins, known generically as Charon's obols, were placed in, on, or near the mouth of the deceased or next to the cremation urn containing their ashes. This has been taken to confirm that at least some aspects of Charon's mytheme are reflected in some Greek and Roman funeral practices, or else the coins function as a viaticum for the soul's journey. The Greeks believed the dead needed a coin to pay Charon for his service, and so one was placed in the mouth of the deceased. Charon is depicted frequently in the art of ancient Greece. Attic funerary vases of the 5th and 4th centuries BC are often decorated with scenes of the dead boarding Charon's boat. On the earlier such vases, he looks like a rough, unkempt, ugly Athenian seaman with a crooked nose dressed in reddish-brown, holding his ferryman's pole in his right hand and using his left hand to receive the deceased. Hermes sometimes stands by in his role as psychopomp. On later vases, Charon is given a more kindly and refined demeanor. The name Charon is commonly interpreted as derived from the Greek word charopos, meaning of keen gaze. This could refer to eyes that are fierce, flashing, feverish, or bluish-gray in color. Some scholars suggest the name may serve as a euphemism for death. The imagery of flashing eyes might symbolize Charon's anger or irascibility, as he is often depicted in literature. However, the exact etymology remains uncertain. The ancient historian Diodorus Siculus speculated that both the ferryman and his name were influenced by Egyptian traditions. In many Greek accounts, Charon often assists heroes who venture into Hades on daring quests, such as Odysseus, Orpheus, and Psyche. One notable encounter involves Hercules, who sought Charon's aid during his 12th and most arduous labor, retrieving Cerberus, the fearsome three-headed guard dog of the underworld. Cerberus ensured that no soul escaped Hades and that no one entered its depths without a guide, whether Charon or Hermes. However, Charon's decision to ferry the living Hercules into the underworld did not go unpunished. Hades, enraged by this breach of duty, condemned Charon to a year in shackles. During this time, the shores of the Acheron must have teemed with wandering souls, stranded and unable to cross into the realm of the dead. Another myth featuring Charon is the tragic story of Orpheus and Eurydice. When Orpheus's beloved wife Eurydice tragically passed away, the heartbroken musician resolved to journey into the underworld to reclaim her. Armed with only his lyre, Orpheus played music so hauntingly beautiful that it touched even the stern heart of Charon. For the first time, Charon set aside his usual demand for payment and allowed Orpheus to cross the river freely. This extraordinary act of compassion reveals a rare glimpse of vulnerability in Charon, a figure often depicted as unyielding and indifferent. It highlights the universal power of music to transcend even the boundaries of life and death. Charon's role as the ferryman of the dead is symbolized through various elements, each highlighting a unique aspect of his duties and character. These symbols, depicted in art, literature, and mythology, have shaped and reinforced his enduring presence as a key figure in the underworld. Charon's most iconic symbol, it represents the vessel he uses to ferry souls across the river Styx. This enduring image is central to his mythology and frequently appears in artistic and literary depictions, symbolizing the journey from life to the afterlife. In some depictions, Charon is portrayed wearing a red cap, a striking symbol of his somber duty as the ferryman of the dead. This detail has become a distinctive element of his appearance in various artworks. An essential symbol of Charon, the oar represents his authority and control over the passage between life and death, as he skillfully guides souls to their final destination in the underworld. Charon is frequently depicted as a skeletal or grim figure, embodying death and the passage from the living world to the underworld. However, it's important to note that he should not be conflated with the Grim Reaper, a figure from later mythologies. Charon's earliest literary reference is found in the now fragmentary Greek epic poem Minyas, which describes a descent into the underworld and is thought to date back to the 6th century BCE. Charon continued to feature in Roman mythology, and he enjoyed a revival with other classical ideas during the Renaissance. In astrology, the largest moon of the dwarf planet Pluto is named after Charon,